Mierra. I love hip-hop on Twitter, I guess. I go to Clark Atlanta. I'm a freshman at Clark Atlanta, and I'm a hip-hop connoisseur.
In hip-hop in the beginning stages. So, could you tell us who your favorite artists from then were and who your favorite artists now are?
Well, as far as like hip hop being different, and then again, this is my opinion and this is how I feel. But I know hip hop, it's like it's the same, but it was a little bit more, I guess you would say, socially conscious. I guess back then, like now, they talked about material things too back then, but now it's like to an extreme, and it's like that's all they talk about. Because Rakim, he's like a legend in hip hop. And he actually started, like, discussing the big gold chains and stuff like that in his rap, which you still see today. Like, you hear Rick Ross talking about how many cars he got, and different rappers, 2 Chainz, just talking about their money and their jewelry and stuff like that. But, I guess some of my favorite artists from back then, what do you mean by, like, back then?
Just anybody who's not new today, like I'll consider today's new artists, like today's mainstream.
Okay, well, would you consider like Nas new? Because he's one of my favorites.
I consider Nas still relevant. I mean,
well, Tupac is my favorite rapper of all time, and Wale is my favorite rapper right now. He's one of my favorites. So it's Tupac and Wale.
Okay, is it limited to just those two, or if you were asked to
No. Well, my top 5 are Tupac, Wale, Nas, DMX, and Cassidy. For those who don't know, Cassidy is a Philly rapper. He was like kind of big right before Meek Mill came on the scene.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Cassidy. Why is Wale and Nas your 2 favorite artists of today and previous years?
Well, Wale, because he has, actually Wale is the reason why I started listening to, I guess newer music, if you want to call it, like newer artists, because it was just something that I saw in him that I didn't see in a lot of other artists. And because he has, and he talks about what every other artist doesn't talk about. And it's like I can identify with Wale because we share the same thing, humility. Like, how many times has Wale snapped on Twitter because somebody said something bad about his music or said something bad about him in general? He's vulnerable and he's an artist and he puts out emotion to give it back, which is why I like Wale. Because it shows that he's a human being as opposed to a 2 Chainz or somebody like Drake, who you really don't know them. Like, you really can't identify with them because most of their fans aren't rich.
Yeah, true.
And with Wale, I feel like he doesn't talk about money and stuff like that in his lyrics as much as those artists do.
Yeah, I agree. I remember on his, I think it was more about nothing, and I'm just a young man talking about reality. And I feel like a lot of artists don't talk about reality. They talk about their reality. They talk about having 10 cars and big houses and elevators.
Right.
When in reality, their listeners do not have that. That's your reality. Right. And yeah, it's nice to listen to it in the car, but like you're saying, as far as the ability goes, Wale is someone. Even J. Cole makes some songs that are relatable to that.
Yeah, I like J. Cole too, but like, I don't know, I kind of favor Wale more. I guess because he's more interactive with his fans, and like he doesn't put himself above his fans, I guess, as he would say, which kind of backfires sometimes. But yeah, he kind of wants to be put on the same level as his fans, which is another reason why I like him. And then in certain ways, he kind of reminds me of Tupac, who is my favorite rapper of all time.
Yeah.
So
okay, well,
that's why I like Wale.
We know that you absolutely love and appreciate gospel music. Do you think anyone will ever reach the heights that he reached? Ever?
Absolutely not. Because, not just, because this is what people have to understand. With Tupac thing, it's deeper than rap. It's deeper than music. It's not just the music. Like, yeah, his music is good too, but I appreciate Tupac as a person more so than his music because he made mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, and he was the first rapper to talk about what was going on in his life, like personally. Nobody else before him talked about how they were poor and how their mother was a crackhead. Like, it was never in like first person. So I feel like Tupac was one of the first ones to actually, I guess, show like a sense of humility, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, even in Dear Mama, when he's talking about it, even as a crack fiend mama, you always was a black queen mama.
Yeah, that's funny.
And I just think stuff like that is deep. Like, I love artists who can identify with the people. Like, yeah, it's good to talk about what you got now as a, like, in comparison to what you didn't have when you were young. But like, it's also good to not forget about your past or not try to, I guess, put it to the side. And I think with Tupac, that's why he's still so loved and so remembered, because he did it better than any artist had ever done it. I mean, Pac wasn't a lyricist like Nas, and he showed that you didn't have to be to get love and to sell out shows and to sell records. Did you know, like, up until probably 2 years ago, Tupac was the highest selling rapper of all time?
Wow.
Eminem just passed him 2 years ago. And that was like, what, 14 years after his death?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, I mean, like, his album, All Eyes on Me, sold 5 million copies in 2 months.
Wow.
His albums that been out for years, they haven't sold 5 million copies. So, I mean, there was something about him, and I can't even speak on, like, how the people reacted at that time, because I was just born.
Yeah.
So, it's like, but yeah, it was something about him. It had to be something that the people identify with. And I think it was his humility, because he got locked up. He went to jail just like his fans did. He smoked weed just like his fans. He drunk just like his fans. He made mistakes just like his. Talk about money and material things like that. And I think people identify that. And when people can identify with you, they'll never forget about you. Which is why he hasn't been forgotten. Like, by people in the industry and by real life people. And that's probably why he's being emulated by so many people right now in the industry.
Yeah.
So I think, no, that's why. Because everybody else trying to duplicate what he did, and he's the original. So in that sense, no, I don't think anybody else will ever be on his level. Not as far as like MCing, but as far as him being, I guess, the most influential. Because another thing, nobody had tattoos before Tupac. No rapper had tattoos. That was like considered a rock and roll thing. Like in the 90s, the 80s and 90s. So no, he brought that to hip hop. So it's like he kind of changed the culture a little bit, because now what does every rapper have? Tattoos. Yeah. So it's like, no, because he was a trendsetter, and it's like, what can these other rappers do that he didn't already do? Because now everybody is worried about the party songs and being on the radio. So no, I don't think that'll happen. I think what our generation gets construed is the fact that there's a difference between an MC and a rapper. An MC/lyricist and a rapper.
Yeah.
An MC, their lyrics come from the soul.
Yeah.
And an MC is a representative of the culture.
Yeah.
A rapper is a representative of the corporation.
Yeah.
Rappers are like made up.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
MCing and lyricism comes from your soul. Which is why an artist should never write their lyrics.
Yeah, and just whatever.
According to what's hot, like, it should always come from your soul. because then it's like once you change your lyrics to please somebody else and you spell them like that, it's kind of like you're selling your soul and it's not coming from nowhere. And I think that's what hip hop is missing, man.